With new car prices reaching record highs in the past few years, it was a big deal when Nissan released the Kicks in 2018. It was a stylish and affordable SUV available in front-wheel drive, and it sold very well. It was especially good for the budget-minded shopper or first-time driver. Well, for 2025, the Nissan Kicks has been totally redesigned. It's grown in size, it has more power, and it has a ton of more technology. And for the first time ever, it has all-wheel drive. My name is Martin. I'm one of the editors and videographers here at Redline Reviews. I'm filling in for Sofyan Bey. We're here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California, and we're gonna take a first drive and a look at the 2025 Nissan Kicks. And the big question I want to answer is, does this have what it takes to kickstart the subcompact entry-level SUV segment? Stay tuned to find out. So obviously I'm not Sofyan, so bear with me. I'm gonna try to get you all of the correct information on this vehicle and guide you through the full review and get some driving impressions. So under the hood, we find a 2-liter 4-cylinder making 141 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque. That's compared to the outgoing 1.6-liter making 122 horsepower. So a nice bump in power. It all goes through an Xtronic CVT, which is the newest version of the Nissan CVT, which uses 2 different pumps. There's a smaller and a larger for the different rev ranges, so it's supposed to be a lot more robust. This vehicle is available now in front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. For the all-wheel drive, you get multi-link rear suspension. MPG, you'll get around 27 city and 34 highway with the all-wheel drive, or about 28 city and 35 highway for the front-wheel drive model. In my testing, I got around 31 miles per gallon combined. This vehicle can do up to 350 miles of range. It has an 11.8 gallon fuel tank, and it does take regular unleaded gasoline. 0 to 60, we didn't really test that. We estimate 9 seconds, but we're not gonna test that here. Unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to do that, so we'll have to wait till Sofyan gets this back home to test that out. Towing is not recommended, even though it's an SUV. This thing is just over 3,200 pounds, so it's not a very heavy SUV. Again, this is an entry level. This is built on the CMF-B platform, which is similar to what the Juke was built on. And this new Kicks boasts a lot of new features, so let's close up the hood and take a look at the exterior styling of this thing. Well, it's a warm one here in Santa Barbara today. Let's start at the front of the vehicle. We can look at some of the design features here. We have the LED signature headlamps. They look like a triple beam design with high beams, reflector on the side, and this is the turn signal. And then we also have these that light up. They're just kind of marker lights. You can see SR badging there, as well as Nissan badging. And the front grille is just like this gloss black, which will show scratches and chips, unfortunately, but it does look very aggressive for an entry-level SUV. Down to the bottom here, we have our parking sensors, as well as this new kind of texture, which is supposed to replicate the sole of a shoe. And that carries on to the side here as well. Here we have the all-new 19-inch aluminum wheels. They're riding on a 225 45/19 tire, so a little bit more expensive to replace, but it is nice to see on a entry-level SUV. The design is pretty cool, and it just fits the overall design of the vehicle. So moving on to the side here, you can't help but notice the two-tone roof. So there's a couple of different color options and packages with this vehicle. One of them is the two-tone color. This is just like a metallic gray. I don't know the exact color, I'm sorry. And this is the red roof. So they're both metallic colors. It looks pretty cool. I almost would prefer to have them switch. It's not my favorite color combo. This does come in many new colors and two-tone options and varieties, so kind of something for everyone. And I think that was the whole point of modeling it after sneakers, because sneakers can vary so much in their design and colors, and that's kind of what they wanted for this vehicle. So moving to the back here, again, this is the all-wheel drive version, so it does have the multi-link rear suspension. And coming to the back here, you see Kicks, or maybe you don't, you can barely see it. The roofline ties into the rear hatch area. So moving to the back, we have the rear lights, which are very different. This just has a really unique design for the rear. Tail lights and I believe it's all LED as well. So that's nice to see on an entry-level SUV. You have LED reverse lights, SR all-wheel drive badge to let you know this is all-wheel drive, and of course the Kicks badge. And opening up the hatch here, we can see there's a pretty good amount of space. Nissan says there's about 30 cubic feet here with the seats folded up, and with them folded down, you'll get about 60, so you double that. That's really good space in a vehicle this small. Now you do lose a little bit because of this area due to the all-wheel drive suspension from what I know. So you do get a little bit less with the all-wheel drive compared to the front-wheel drive, but I don't think it's that noticeable after seeing both. You also get this little cargo cover protector, and the seats fold down just like this with a 60-40 split. But overall, this has a lot of room for a subcompact entry-level SUV. So moving on to the interior of the all-new Kicks. First, before we do that, let's take a look at the key fob. Here's Nissan's latest key fob for this vehicle. It's kind of just a bare plastic. It's got some basic buttons, and it's really light and kind of cheap feeling, but that's what you expect with this segment of vehicle. You're not going to get a premium key fob for a entry-level subcompact SUV. So here we have remote start, which is nice to see, lock, unlock, and panic. So we'll lock the vehicle, we get a beep, and then if we come up to it, it's locked. But if we hit the button, unlock. So you can lock and unlock the vehicle with that button on the door handle. This is a nice leather feeling area. I don't know that it's actually leather. I think it's vinyl with stitching, but it's very soft touch. And then here we have this carbon fiber looking area, which looks like it would be really hard, right? It's not, it's actually soft touch. And then we have this brushed aluminum style plastic, as well as bare plastic buttons with silver trim. I think that comes together really nicely, especially with the painted plastic door handle. And then all the rest of this is just hard plastic. Moving on to the rest of the interior, we have these all new seats with Bose Personal Plus speakers in the headrest. Bose Personal Plus speakers in the headrest sound really good. It's mostly treble. It's kind of like a tweeter, but it does add to the overall sound. This SR has the premium package, so it includes the 10 speakers for the Bose system. I believe it's 6 speakers in the vehicle and then 2 in each headrest. I believe that's how they get to the 10. These are the zero gravity seats. They have some decent bolstering, and I gotta say they're pretty comfortable. Let's turn it on because it is pretty warm out here. And we are greeted by the dual 12.3 inch displays and some very aggressive air conditioning. We got to turn that down. So here for the steering wheel, this is heated, and then we have some bare plastic on the buttons, and overall it has a really good feel. It has a nice flat bottom with some silver trim, and I really liked it. It has a good feel to it. And then here we have another vent, and we have some of this more soft touch plastic area with some piano black, which I wasn't a huge fan of. And we have our hood pop, fuse and relay area. And then these buttons are heated steering wheel and steering assist on and off. That's only for cruise control. With the SR, you get the dual 12.inch screens with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. With the S, you'll get a 7-inch display here, and it's wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So I would at least get the SV, and if you get the SR premium package, you get all this wireless and some nice goodies like the heated seats, heated steering wheel, and things like that. I did forget to mention these are heated seats in the SR premium package. So that does add on another $19.50 to the price, but I think it's worth it because you get Bose as well. So you get the heated steering wheel, heated seats, and the Bose system, and it just really all comes together. It feels like a much more premium, expensive car. And here in the 12.3 inch middle display, the infotainment, we have notifications, we have home, and this will go to Apple CarPlay, which we're not connected right now, a list of your devices, time, connections, very responsive touchscreen. We also have music, you have AM, FM, Sirius, XM, Bluetooth, you can do USB media, and of course Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. One thing I didn't like is that all the climate controls are in the screen to see what's going on, but you control it from here. So here are the buttons, and you touch them, but you don't really know what's going on unless you have this screen up. and you can change where the air is blowing, the intensity, and everything like that. I do like this carbon fiber soft touch here because it works great if you are, you know, trying to get to a map, or you want to rest your hand here and maybe put your thumb there for when you click on stuff. It's a perfect padding, and it goes all across the dash there. We have some of this hard plastic here, the soft touch, just like the door panel with stitching. I think it gives it a very premium look. Down here we have two USB-Cs. That's how you plug into CarPlay. We have a start-stop button, auto hold, and emergency brake. Then we have our drive mode, and we have Eco, Snow, Sport, and Standard. Remember, this is all-wheel drive now, so it has snow, and it does torque vectoring and different kind of braking when you're in snow mode to keep you on your course. Here we have the AC vents. We have a nice volume knob in the center. There is a wireless charger here. You put your phone, it just kind of goes down in here. Wireless charger, wireless Apple CarPlay. Very nice to have. We do have a glove box. It is damped, but not lined with felt, as Sofyan would say. And we have our hazard, our next track, and then our camera button. So a really cool feature to have. There's 4 cameras on the vehicle, and you can kind of see all around you, and it looks really good quality. But continuing on here, we have the gear shifter, pretty standard for your CVT. You have all your standard gears. Over here we have a cup holder with a piece of popcorn for some reason, but the cup holders are nice and deep, so if you put something in here, you can reach around it, which is nice. And then we have a very little center console with a 12-volt outlet. So this 360 camera's a segment first, and also a segment first, this panoramic moonroof. Not only a sunroof, but it tilts and it opens. I'll demonstrate here if it wants to work for me. That's the wrong button. Here we go. Tilt and open. So that's a segment first, having that on an entry-level SUV. Of course, this is the top model. If it's getting a little too toasty, you can just close it up, which is perfect. I mostly drive like that, especially in this warm California sun. And then here we have the controls for that, the shade and the sunroof. We have a dome light button, sunglasses holder, and that's about it. We don't have a digital rear view camera display. I don't expect that in this segment. And then back here in the rear seats, I haven't moved some of my stuff, so pretend that's not there. The door panels are just like the front, except they're hard plastic up here, so you don't get some of that nice soft touch area, but you do get it down here, so that is nice. So your passengers have a nice spot to put their elbow, some of that same finish as up front. And then the hard plastic, the zero gravity seats continue into the rear, and they're very comfortable. It's just that at 6'1", I don't have a lot of space, so we'll get in there now, actually try this out. This is where I would sit to drive. I could probably move up a little bit, but you can see it's pretty tight. So this is mostly for small adults or children. I would say as a dad, a car seat might fit there. Well, we do also have 2 USB-C chargers, but no rear AC vents back here that I can see. And we do have a little light back here as well. So getting in and out of this as 6'1" is not super easy, but for kids and small adults, this should be fine. And then lastly, we have an armrest, 2 cup holders, folds up, and then the 60-40 split. This is the 40, and there you go. Overall, not a bad place to spend time for an entry-level SUV. So here we are in the 2025 Nissan Kicks here in Santa Barbara, California, just driving around. I want to try to showcase the increased steering response, the handling, the comfort, but overall, like, I think the zero gravity seats are very nice. This is all laid out very nicely. It's very easy to drive, a nice upright position, steering wheel feels good. It's exactly what you would expect almost. So even with 141 horsepower, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it is enough. It does get up and go when it needs to. And there's not a whole lot of outside noise. There is a very loud Audi next to me, but other than that, like loud exhaust, you don't really hear too much, which speaks to the NVH work they did. They put more sound deadening and things like that into this vehicle just to make it ride better. In here feels much more premium, especially with these materials and the increased comfort and everything like that. It just
all adds up to be a nicer vehicle to drive, especially in this kind of cheaper segment. I mean, I'm sitting in these zero gravity seats, no pain, they feel really good. I have two 12.3 inch displays. I have all these nice soft touch areas, and I have a all-wheel drive SUV. So this upright position is really nice. You see everything out of the front, the back, the sides. Everything looks good there. Right now I'm not getting the best gas mileage just because I've been idling for a bit before we film this, but I was getting around 31 in normal driving, city and some highway. Hopefully the road opens up here and we can step on it. It goes, you know, for 141 horsepower, it's still a relatively light vehicle, so it's not bad in acceleration. It's not going to be super fast if that's what you're expecting, but I don't think many people shopping this segment are expecting that. You usually get smaller engines that are more efficient and just better miles per gallon, and you're not going to get a lot of power. There's no turbo. This is naturally aspirated 2 liter. The Xtronic CVT feels good. All-wheel drive, you definitely feel like a little bit of a push from behind you now rather than a pull like front-wheel drive would do, so that is nice. Let's see what this guy's doing up here. All right, let's get around him, and now we can hit some of these turns. So here's some bumps in the road, barely feeling them. Now these 19-inch wheels with the smaller sidewall tires are going to contribute to some of the harshness, if there is any, but I mean, you're barely feeling it. The suspension is tuned so well in this thing. You get these curves and these bumps, it just goes. There's a little bit of tire noise that can be changed with different tires, I'm sure, or maybe smaller wheels. Just know that with the SR, you are going to get a little bit more stiff of a ride because of the 19-inch wheels and smaller sidewall. But here we're in a construction zone. Yeah, even hitting those, not bad. Big bump here, handles it like a champ. On faster driving, it does well, like highway speeds, we're about 50 right now. And yeah, it doesn't bump steer, which is nice. That's a kind of an issue with a lot of front-wheel drive vehicles. With this all-wheel drive one, with the new suspension setup, the little bit added extra weight, just the redesign, everything they did, it just handles a lot better now. So we can kind of do a little bit more aggressive driving, and it's responsive, it's tight, steers very well. So good job, Nissan, on the driving dynamics of this vehicle.
So after driving the all-new Kicks around Santa Barbara for the day, I have to say it's a really good car. It's a really good entry-level subcompact crossover SUV. It's a growing segment, and I think Nissan has really hit all the pain points of that segment by including all-wheel drive. That's something they didn't offer in the first generation Kicks, and now they do, and I think that's going to be a game changer, especially with the updated styling. I did forget to mention the beginning of this video, this has 8.4 inches of ground clearance. It's 2.3 inches longer than the previous generation, 1.6 inches wider, which isn't a ton, but it still has that nice width to it. And then it's about 0.9 of an inch higher. So not a huge growth, but it is bigger. It does come with a more powerful engine, the updated CVT, and when you get it with all-wheel drive, you get the updated all-wheel drive system with the multi-disc clutch. I think all of those coming together, along with the interior 12.3 inch dual displays, the heated seats, heated steering wheel with the premium package and the Bose speakers as well, all that together makes it an awesome value. Now, say you don't need the Bose speakers, you don't care for heated seats, you live in this kind of climate, you can get the front wheel drive S, no frills. You still get a 7-inch screen for the infotainment, and you can get front wheel drive, and it only costs $490 more than the outgoing model. So in a world where car prices just go up thousands every generation, the Nissan Kick somehow managed to keep it only $490 more for the comparable model. So you go from a 2024 S to a 2025 S, you're only spending a little bit more and you're getting a way better experience. You get a lot of really nice stuff, standard and segment first, like the panoramic moonroof. There's so much to consider in this, what is usually a very basic segment. This has everything. The Rogue Sport is no longer, the Juke is no longer, and the Versa hasn't been for a while. So Nissan repositioning the kicks and redesigning it and giving it all this tech, I think was a good move on their part. I think they're going to sell a ton of these. Pricing starts at $21,830 for the S front wheel drive. And as this is spec'd out, this is $31,000 with destination charges. So with all of that in mind, if you're cross shopping the Kona, the Trax, or the Soul, definitely give the Nissan kicks a look. I think you'll be impressed with what it offers for the price. It's hitting dealer lots now as we speak. And thank you for bearing with me through this video. With all that being said, if you want to follow along with all the latest updates, Redline_reviews on Instagram, and subscribe to this channel for all of the latest videos. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.